creative venture that has been in the news for everything but what the creators want to shed light on is the Vikramaditya Motwane directed film AK vs. AK. The film can be best described as being excessively meta, a movie based on making a movie in real time as Anurag Kashyap and Anil Kapoor play exaggerated versions of themselves. Both the actors represent characters which many may presume to be their real personalities when the borderline sociopathic and obsessive director approaches the commercial star for an experimental project that involves his daughter being kidnapped and the rules that must be followed in the quest to find her. What we get is AK vs. AK. I'm a massive fan of the creations by Vikramaditya Motwane. He is a person who I believe may just be one of the most versatile creators we have in the Hindi film industry. An individual that has the range to provide a coming-of-age story with Udaan with the same conviction as an original Indian superhero storyline with Bhavesh Joshi. I'm going to be talking about a lot of aspects regarding the film, the misplaced criticism it is getting, the miscommunication with the masses of what this genre really is, and why I also had a great time watching it. First of all, I just want to address all the criticism the film is getting, especially which I feel has nothing really to do with the film's storyline as such, but more to do with the individuals involved in the project and what they stand for. Criticism of visual aspects of a film should be judged in context to why they exist. For example, John Abraham's character from Taxi Number 911 from the start to the conclusion of the film wears a white suit because the entire premise is set around 24 hours. The intention of the creators with Anil Kapoor wearing an Indian Air Force uniform is nothing but a simple continuity aspect of a character being put into the thick of things immediately after his film shooting, where he plays a character from the Air Force. There are no references or moments to shed light on what the character is wearing. It never even takes the front seat. So I just want to get that out of the window that the intention of the creators is not to showcase the uniform in a bad light, but merely exists because of continuity. A lot of people were confused when they saw the trailer, wondering why are both creators playing themselves, and that the premise of Sonam Kapoor being kidnapped in itself seems too far-fetched. At one point of time, Anil Kapoor mockingly tells Anurag Kashyap कि तेरी film कोई बनाने नहीं देता तो तू reality show बना रहा है. It clearly communicates the segregation people are not understanding between what is fiction and reality in AK vs. AK. It's a fictional take of celebrities who we think we know, and they just play to the gallery as we take the position of intruders in their homes or creeps eavesdropping over their conversations. So whether it be Kashyap having a massive hard-on for realistic cinema or Anil Kapoor's narcissism of being relevant for several decades, it's the idea of what these public personalities will be like if they had constant cameras on them. A lot of people have been complaining about the excessive profanity in the film as well. I'll just say if Mirzapur is music to your ears, then criticizing this film for more or less the same thing is just hypocritical. What I found really brave and fascinating regarding both the creators Kashyap and Kapoor was that while they play up their parts of their public personas, they still through this venture really became vulnerable by letting cameras come inside their homes. Anil Kapoor is an artist that has been at the top of the game for a very long time, and often after spending so much time in the industry, you often become restrictive with the genres of film you want to venture into. To see him at the age of 64 venturing into such an offbeat premise that directly goes on an OTT platform does really tell you how far ahead he is compared to many of his peers on how different kinds of storytelling communicates and impacts the masses. He gives everything to this film with such conviction that I honestly marvel at his dedication to the craft. It's literally blood, sweat and tears that he has contributed to this role, and his arc of absolute disdain for an indie creator like Kashyap, to angst for the predicament he finds himself in, and finally a sense of helplessness as well when there seems to be no point of return, is so well communicated by the actor. Kashyap channeling his obsessive and borderline sociopathic tendencies for the sake of art is the perfect element to push Anil Kapoor on the edge. Even the cameos of Harshvardhan Kapoor playing up the personality of having failed with Bhavesh Joshi and desperately wanting to be a part of an exciting project, and Boney Kapoor, well, being Boney Kapoor, contributed for hilarious moments in the movie. The film is shockingly self-aware and has such brief but absolutely gold moments of humor, be it Nawazuddin Siddiqui cancelling on Anurag Kashyap or the public recognizing Anurag Kashyap and referring to him as Anurag Basu and Madhur Bhandarkar. It's accurate and hilarious. Not to forget the sequence that you've seen in the trailer in the police station. It's absolute comedy gold. A technical detail that stuck out as a sore thumb for me was many sequences of the film are sped up, and this often takes away from what originally the film visually represented. A guerrilla-style filmmaking technique that lends authenticity, as if just being a bystander to the madness. But holistically, the cinematography by Swapnil Sonavne is impeccable. Sequences shot in indoor locations, especially moments where the camera is constantly acknowledged, and the chase sequences that run through the streets of Mumbai provide this raw aesthetic appeal that really elevates the quality of the movie. If you're a fan of Bhavesh Joshi and remember how beautifully Motwane shot the chase sequence through Mumbai, you would know why his films visually stand out. Another reference to the shooting style of this film is if you've ever seen Cloverfield, having this raw handheld camera visualization. The attention to detail of having the camera woman huffing while following Anil Kapoor, or the transitions that lead to points of impact are brilliantly executed. What I will definitely confess to you is that at one point of time, especially as the hour mark has passed by, you do wonder whether this film is really hooking you in. For a brief point of time, I did wander into being a little less invested, but like most Motwane ventures, it does have the ability to grab you by the scruff of the neck and demand your attention. The film has the ability to say so much regarding humans, expectations, and coming to terms with what is our reality. It does showcase the unfortunate reality of being a public figure. The image of a popular man that is wounded and seeking for help is bombarded by everyone just for selfies. A cry for help is returned with the expectation of a performance. The man who made a name for himself through his fictional performances is a prisoner to the demands of the public. AK vs AK and its polarizing reactions, both good and bad, make me come to the conclusion that we as the Indian audience are in a constant conundrum of complaining. We will trash on the mediocre content being promoted in commercial cinema, and justifiably so, but when creators come with inventive projects that push the envelope, we, for our lack of understanding of what the film is trying to communicate, discount it as pseudo-intellectuals doing what they do. AK vs AK for cinema enthusiasts will be an absolute treat. Its packaging and execution is misunderstood by those that are blatantly hating it. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.